Hello, my name is Brandon and welcome to Ribert's Trading Post. This is a place where dice tell stories and paints create legends. Okay, so welcome to the channel. This is my new YouTube channel. I've never really done YouTube before, so this is all going to be a bit of a learning curve. I've been wanting to start this channel for a long time now, and I've been kind of pondering over what would be the perfect first video, and I kind of realized that that doesn't exist, and in actuality it's just kind of holding me back and stopping me from getting started. So I thought, let's start simple and let's just kind of get on with it and see where it goes from here. So what is Ribert's Trading Post? Ribert's Trading Post is going to be a channel focused around the Warhammer hobby, Warhammer 40k, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, whatever kind of is going on at the time, or what I feel like doing at the time, as I play a bit of everything Warhammer, to be honest with you. What I'm kind of going to cover more specifically are kind of my experiences in the hobby, my stories doing Warhammer. However, I do hope one day I can expand that into things like painting tutorials, conversion videos, lore segments, and maybe if I can figure them out, a battle report or two, but we'll see where the channel goes. But for now, we're going to start nice and simple. And today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you or go through a bit of an army showcase on what I'm currently working on, and that is my Salamanders Space Marines army. This army that I'm going to show you today is 500 points of Salamanders. You might be wondering why it's such a small army, but that's because I'm actually going to be using these guys in an escalation campaign, crusade campaign, against my partner and her Tau Empire. And we start at 500 points, and we hope over the course of the campaign we build our armies up to eventually end up on that 2,000 point mark. And in all honesty, I've got a feeling with the way things are going right now, we're probably going to end up pushing that to 3,000 points and have some really massive armies and big battles, which will be really, really cool and a lot of fun as well. But anyway, let's see if I can get the editing right, and let's dive into the army and show you some cool miniatures. Okay, so if all has gone right on the editing stage right now, you should be seeing some cool shots of my Salamanders and the army here in front of us. So this army is called the Pyreblade Expedition, or the Pyreblade Expeditionary Force. And these are a part of the 3rd company of the Salamanders chapter. And these guys have been tasked by Adrax Agatome to head over to the sector of space, or the cluster of worlds of Vulcus Reach, to investigate the distress signals that have come in from the sector governor of a Xenos presence, that being obviously the Tau. So the Pyblade Expedition is led by Lieutenant Daikon Pyreal. He is my own custom kit-bashed lieutenant. He's made up of several parts: intercessor body, apothecary arm, gravis captain head, lieutenant backpack, blade guard captain base, and the rest that you see there, such as the arm holding the hand flamer, thunder hammer, shoulder pads, scaled tabard, drake pelt, whatever it is. They're all 3D printed bits, and you'll see those bits kind of throughout all the models in this army. So, bit of background behind who Daikon Pyreal is. Daikon Pyreal is the lieutenant of this force tasked with kind of investigating what's going on in Vulcus Reach and potentially eradicating any threats that are there. He is a very stoic man. He's very calm, slow to anger. However, when he does get there, it is like a volcanic eruption, and he will use that thunder hammer, which has been called Emberfang, and his hand flamer to devastating effect, and I'm sure any opponent on the opposite side of it will not do very well. Let's move on now to a few of the men under his command in this first 500 points of the Pyreblade Expedition. So we're going to move on to the first squad, and this is our Infernus squad. This is squad Ignovarus, led by Sergeant Zalvos Ashmantle. These guys are really cool. It's in Space Marines with flamethrowers. It is just salamanders through and through. And I've had honestly, these are the reason why I've decided to go with this army. Partly because I had 30 unbuilt Infernus Marines for about 2 years, and I don't know why, but now they're getting some use. So if we have a look at the squad a bit closer, again, you can see those 3D printed parts throughout all of them to really sell that Salamanders look. But you'll also notice the sergeant in this squad is a little bit special, and that's because he is the Combat Patrol magazine exclusive Infernus sergeant, standing on that charred Tyrannid. These guys are just really nice, and I can't wait to have all 30 of my Infernus Marines in this army, especially with the rules for Vulcan Hestan in current Salamanders and with the Forge Father detachment. They're going to be really cool and really nasty once those games get going and those dice start rolling. I really, really can't wait to use these guys to devastating effect. But let's move on to the second squad. So this is our Intercessor squad. This is squad Ferox, led by Marcon Steadystone. Marcon Steadystone got the nickname Steadystone as he is a very steadfast sergeant who never wavers no matter what the odds, and he is there to hold down objectives, hold down that hab block, protect those civilians, just make sure that he is the rock in this army. And the lore that I'm building around this squad does really tie into their battlefield role of objective holders. And I really like that about narrative play. You can kind of build on like the actual battlefield game role of certain units and really give them their own flair, their own backstory, names. And obviously in Crusade, once you get going, they'll have things like battle honors, scars, and all this stuff. And it's going to be really cool. But that's the first squad. Again, 3D printed shoulders, heads, and tabards there as well. So let's move on to our third squad. So this is our Assault Intercessor squad, and this is squad Ignodrake, led by Sergeant Kalos Firemane. This is our, close support squad. These guys are there to really shield those Infernus Marines, to make sure their flamers can just be burning hot all battle. They are there to kind of charge forward, protect their brothers, and really bring the hurt to the enemy. And let's be honest, there is just something really cool about Space Marines with chainswords. And I do plan on building this into a big 10-man block. And like just having just those guys run across the board in a big, scary wedge at the enemy, at the Tau, and just watch them in fear try to shoot them down. I just think it's going to be really fun. And again, it's just cool Space Marines with chainswords. Okay, so now let's move on to the last unit in this first 500 point Vanguard force, and that is the Eradicators. And oh man, these are probably my favorite units so far. I just love how bulky they are and just how awesome they look. So anyway, this is squad Pyroclast, led by Sergeant Varric Meltborn. And Varric is honestly probably one of my favorite models in this army so far. He's definitely my favorite sergeant out of all of them, and that's including the Combat Patrol exclusive one as well. like he's got so much cool stuff going on. You know, he's got the Drake pelts. He's got the cool Salamanders Iron Halo on him there. And you'll also notice on these guys, they've all got the tilt shield with some cool iconography. And I've tried to make it a little bit different for each of them. And that's what I'll be doing for each one of these guys. Because obviously Salamanders, their whole thing is kind of customizing their armor, and they're maintaining their own war gear. And I wanted to keep the army quite cohesive, so this is one way to kind of get that across without having them all look very different and really building up that paint time. But these guys are obviously in the army as the heavy support, the anti-armor. These are going to be the guys who are there to take down the battle suits, the Tau vehicles, and the more harder to kill things that my flamethrowers probably aren't going to do much damage to, but these guys are there to kind of melt off the Tau faces. And as you can see on Sergeant Varek's base, there is a little Tau skull, and you can imagine that's a poor victim of his big melt gun there. So now, hopefully, again, if I've done this right, you should be seeing a few cool shots of the entire army. And I do really hope that you have enjoyed seeing these guys and enjoyed a bit of the lore behind them. Obviously, the lore has been a little bit more fleshed out, and I do have a bit more. However, I feel like for now, just as a bit of an army showcase, I'm not going to dive too much into that, or too much more into what I've got for them. And maybe one day in the future, I'll do a bit of a lore segment on what our campaign of Avulcus Reach is, and the two armies that'll be fighting over it. Okay, so that is the army showcase. I hope you've enjoyed a lot of the cool shots of the models, and hopefully if all's gone right in the editing stage, you did get to actually see them. But yeah, this is an army that I've absolutely fallen in love with, and I can't wait to see it grow into that bigger 2,000, 3,000 point force with all the cool characters, hopefully some tanks, you know, just more flamethrowers. But yeah, and then see kind of where the narrative takes them. Will Daikon Pyriel continue to be this stoic, steadfast hero, or will he break seeing civilians being killed? I guess we'll find out as the crusade goes on. But anyway, that being said, I just want to say thank you very much for watching the video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like and share it around with anyone you think would be interested. I really want to grow this into something special and really build a community that is very focused around kind of the creative side of Warhammer and the narrative, the painting, all that cool stuff. So if you do have any cool experiences or any stories you want to share or any cool models you want to talk about, pop them in the comments below. I will most certainly be reading and trying to interact with as many as I can. I imagine with this being the first video, there's probably going to be none, but hey, you never know. There might be someone, even if it's just one. Say hi. And then finally, if you have liked it, do subscribe, and let's build something really, really cool and special here. And I really can't wait to see where Ribert's Trading Post goes, if anywhere. But anyway, my name's Brandon, and this is Ribert's Trading Post. I will see you all next time.